Welcome to On the Chain. This is Jeff here with co-host Chip. What is going on, Chip? What's going on, everybody out there in the On the Chain universe? You know who you are, that one person out there. Maybe his name is Crypto Whelp. Maybe it isn't. What is going on? I'll tell you what's going on, Chip. We are talking a little bit about the RLUSD integration into the ecosystem. Maybe away with XRP altogether. Maybe Ripple doesn't need it. Maybe no one else really needs the XRP. I don't know. Let's workshop that. Let's get some commentary from the people out there. Let's discuss this a little bit more in depth because Ripple's at the end. That's it.
They're nearing the end and something else too, Jeff. Like very serious stuff here.
Serious stuff right there at the end. That's it. Getting ready for some rocket liftoff or maybe not. But Trump and Bukele get to meet yesterday. That was pretty epic. So to speak, epic.
Epic. That's what the badass Yetis are. They're epic.
Epic.
Let's do it.
All right. It's very serious, Matt. So stay tuned.
Oh, it's very serious, Matt.
Very serious. We only talk serious.
See how serious my face is right now?
Very serious.
Super serious.
We're going to be serious throughout the whole thing.
Welcome to On the Chain.
Welcome to On the Chain, everybody. Welcome, everybody. Please drop where you're coming in from. Say hello. Tip your bartenders on the way in and on the way out. And let's do this. Let's have a show. Let's do this. So I was talking. You teased it a little bit. You talked a little bit about what's going on with the ripples. So what's that? They are coming to an end.
Mm-hmm.
It will end. And here it is. Jimmy Filan put this out. A party's joint motion to hold the appeal in abeyance has been granted. The SEC is directed to file a status report within 60 days of this order. Now, the old SEC, Jeff, they would probably wait till like the 59th day and write it and then file it on the 60th day. But that's not what I expect to happen here. So just, normal stuff. But here it is right there. As stated term of the United States Court of Appeals, Second Circuit, held at Thurgood Marshall United States Courthouse. Gives the address on the 16th day of April, 2025. The United States Securities and Exchange Commission versus Ripple Labs, Brad Garlinghouse, Chris Larson, dependents, and then you got Jordan Deaton, James Lamonte, Myra Lamonte, Tyler Lamonte, Mitchell McKenna, Christine Warner, PhD, Rosalind Layton, interveners. There you go. Hereby ordered that the joint motion is granted, signed off by Catherine O'Hagan-Wolf, the clerk of the court, and then Freddie Rispoli, also a very trusted attorney in the space, said with this order, the next move we'll see is a filing in the district court seeking to modify Judge Torres's order, i.e. lifting the injunction and reducing the fine. So it's already been agreed to. Brad Garlinghouse already stated that with the staff, it's already been agreed to. This is the formality of the that has to happen, but they already sort of went through the so it's a formality, and this is the final piece of it, which is just doing it through the court system. But they already agreed, so they'll do the what Judge Torres will actually go ahead and lift the order. Or lift the injunction, and then that's when the fine gets reduced. It was 125, it got reduced out to 50K, and was it 50K? Or was it 75K?
What?
The fine was 125. Did they reduce it down to 50K? I think it's 75K back. Whatever.
125 million.
125 million. That's right. 125 million, but they reduced it down to 50 million, I think.
Right.
Just don't worry. Somebody will correct me if I'm wrong.
Baltimore.
That's what we do here. Michigan's in here. Saratoga, Baltimore. Yeah, we're
Saratoga. Saratoga.
50K. No, it was 50. It was 50 million. 50 million, Chad. Sorry,
50K.
I don't think in terms of millions. Sorry, I think in terms of K. So I'm not that. I'm not one of those. Yeah, I'm not that big on that. I'm intimidated by your seriousness. Oh, don't be intimidated. It's not that serious. Yeah, 50 million. LOL. Yeah, see, I pulled you into it, man.
That's right.
I see that, dude.
That. Rocking the new Mentalist.
Beautiful, dude.
Yeah, Lloyd
badass,
XPF.
Lloyd, what's going on? So this is good news. It's welcome news for sure. And
I think
Ripple,
it's a change. Definitely a change.
Yeah, well, it's finally winding down. Everyone's like, "Oh, it's taking forever." I'm like, "Dude, it's over. Go home. It's done."
Mm-hmm.
You know,
finished.
It's over. I mean, this is just formality stuff. There's nothing to worry about. There's nothing to think about. You know, the new SEC is not gonna. They're not gonna pull any punches. We got the. We actually have the new chair who's going to be seated. So I mean, just give it some time, man. It's like everyone's running around all worried, like, oh my god, this is horrible. Oh. Please, people, please.
I don't know what to do with it.
So Gary Gensler made an appearance on TV today. I was done punching and breaking TV screens. Yeah, I don't even care. He's the biggest loser around. What was he talking about, Matt? I mean, I wonder if we can find that. Who cares, really? Next time in Belgium again. Beautiful.
Gary the man.
Gary.
The man, the myth, the legend.
In his own mind. That is him. Ripple put this post on X. Global businesses need fast, low-cost ways to move money. RLUSD stands for Ripple. US dollar is now integrated into Ripple payments, enabling real-time cross-border payments backed by institutional-grade compliance, transparency, and trust. Here's the new standard. They're talking about this post right here. And they get into, you know, what are stablecoin payments and blah, blah, blah. Pegging it to a fiat asset reduces the price of volatility. And this is probably what they ran into. The reason they probably created this, Jeff, is what we used to talk about for the last 5-6 years, which had to do with the volatility, which was, yeah, it doesn't sound like a big deal, but if you're sending $10 million and the price fluctuates by a few pennies, and usually XRP is pretty stable, but if it does fluctuate, there's no fluctuating in a stable coin. So this is what was missing from Ripple, which the stable coin, you know. So they're talking about require for businesses and financial institutions, stable coins present an opportunity to streamline those international transactions. And unlike traditional fiat to fiat payments, which can often require multiple intermediaries that pile on fees and slow settlement times, stablecoin cross-border payments are direct and settle in real time. The instant settlement capability combined with lower costs, fewer failed transactions makes them ideal asset to move around the world. So there you go. Benefits, talks about smarter payments, faster, lower cost, reliable, enhanced security with blockchain technology. Transactions are immutable, publicly verifiable, and a whole new level of transparency, expanded accessibility. Talks a little bit about how the flow works on the rails, what to look for in a platform, gets into everything. So it's a pretty comprehensive article. Stable coins for cross-border payments with Ripple. Of course, you can buy their software, and that's pretty much it. That's what it is. And they are on the move, and there
you have it.
But it remains, though, the XRPL can convert fiat to digital asset to fiat. So it doesn't necessarily use XRP. It's not necessary unless it's using it for to burn. Maybe it's burning a little bit of XRP on the XRP ledger. That's a good question. I don't know exactly how that works. That's why I want a guy like Panos to be here when I have a question like this.
That'd be a good one.
So he can workshop it, because
solid
I don't
question.
think it needs. I don't think it definitely needs. And you see, I'm not going to type that in because I don't want to have to win again. That's a badass right there. Look at that. But the YETI, type it in. There's 5 entries so far. You guys are way ahead of me.
Man, they're already kicking it up a notch.
Pegged to gold and silver. I imagine that'll come. But the problem is you got to pony up the gold and the silver to back it with. That's the thing. People are like, I want to do a gold stable coin. Great. How many do you want to release? 100 million. Okay, so you have 100 million in gold? No. Okay, well then that's part of the issue, is you need to back it with needs to really be backed by gold or tokenized or something along those lines there. That's what you want to be typing in. We got 6 people potentially win. That is. Cash is here. Look at Cash is like, yeah, I'm on there. We got 7, lucky number 7.
All right.
He's number 7, Cash Velocity. That's a lucky number. Let's see if that turns out tonight. And if it does, people will say it's rigged. That's
Cash Velocity. Let's see how many times we can say Cash Velocity, and then we'll see if it gets rigged. Yeah. Cash Velocity. Velocity entered Yeti.
Thanks, Gary. I hope Thanks Gary wins so he can put a Yeti up there. My work does. Maybe I need to talk to them. Well, there you go.
Yeah, there you go.
Needs a lot. There you go. We still have 7 though. So there you are. All right. So what else do we have here? Well, I have to say, Jeff, this every once in a while you're going to take a different opinion, then maybe somebody else. And David Schwartz, I don't necessarily know if he always believes this stuff. I think sometimes I just feel like sometimes he does it just to poke the bear. Like he doesn't really believe it, but I think he just wants to like, just like mess with people so they can get a lot of people like responding.
I think he does. I think he definitely does. He always sets things up to get people a little,
because it sounds like it's teed up for just people to go off. And by the way, I was one of the people that went off. I had to. So
there you go, Chip. It has been noted. Every transaction with RLUSD
there you go.
earn 10 drops.
Well, there you have it. It does use XRP.
Boom.
It burns at 10 drops. Thank you for that.
There's no big boom on that one. It's just kind of a not really an
thank you for that, John Saxon. I mean, Chad Nauseum.
Right.
Boom, bitches. Boom. All right, so let's put this up. A little bit controversial in nature. But here it is. This guy, Matthew Segal.
Man, finally Adrian made it.
Yeah, about time. He says,
beautiful Yeti.
To say let's eliminate due process for the bad guys is to fundamentally misunderstand what due process is. Now you really have to label who the bad guys are, because bad guys could be U.S. citizens, and I would agree wholeheartedly that statement is true. But if anybody, a human, is bad guys, then I got a problem with that, which is why I can see David Schwartz agreeing with this. However, it's like he says this 1,000 times this. So he's agreeing with it. But if you say eliminate due process for the bad guys, well, who are the bad guys? Are we talking about the people that were just deported, Jeff? Are we talking about guys who commit a crime or a felony who end up in prison? They're bad guys. They always get due process, right? So it's kind of like see, I said due process is for citizens. Illegals who broke the law get sent back home. XR Poop says no due process for illegal entries or immigrants. There's no other way. David Schwartz said, when you decide whose entry is illegal or who is an immigrant, who do you afford the accused due process or not?
Well, everybody, according to different sections of the Constitution, then it would say that people are given the Bill of Rights, based on personhood, not based on citizenship.
Wait a minute, what?
So the Supreme Court actually ruled on this in 1903. So in 1903, the court in the Japanese immigrant case reviewed the legality of deporting an alien who had lawfully entered the U.S., clarifying that an alien who has entered the country and has become subject in all respects to its jurisdiction and a part of its population could not be deported without an opportunity to be heard upon the questions involving his right to be and remain in the U.S. But
you said lawfully entered.
Right. So
it's very different.
But you illegally, so you broke a law. But in the decades that followed, the Supreme Court maintained the notion that once an alien lawfully, so let's underscore that again, enters and resides in the country, he becomes invested with the rights guaranteed by the Constitution to all people within our borders. Eventually, the Supreme Court extended these constitutional protections to all aliens within the United States, including those who entered unlawfully, declaring that aliens who have once passed through our gates, even illegally, may be expelled only after proceedings conforming to traditional standards of fairness encompassed in due process of law. The court reasoned that aliens physically present in the U.S., regardless of their legal status, are recognized as persons guaranteed due process of law by the 5th and 14th Amendment. Thus, the court determined even one whose presence in this country is unlawful, involuntary, or transitory. Yeah, I think the crisp is on. That's weird. I'll have to check and see if it's working.
I heard sirens. They come and get you.
So they might be now. Accordingly, notwithstanding Congress's indisputably broad power to regulate immigration, fundamental due process requirements notably constrain that power with respect to aliens within the territorial jurisdiction of the United States. So,
yeah, but that's lawfully. That's a little bit different. If somebody came in, that's a whole different story. Again, it comes.
But I was saying, if they were illegal, it didn't matter. That was the whole point. Is that the Supreme Court ruled that all aliens within the U.S., including those who entered unlawfully, declaring that aliens who have once passed through our gates, even illegally, may be expelled only after proceedings conforming to traditional standard of fairness encompassed in due process of law.
They're going home.
So,
they're going home, Jeff. There's no other way around
well,
it.
they have to go home.
Yeah,
They broke the law. They got their due process and they're out of here.
Right. They're done. They got their walk-in papers. That's their due process right there.
Oh, I see what
But,
happened.
you know, you got to love what's happened to the Democrat Party. And I think it's I hear you.
Okay.
I have to love what's happening to the Democrat Party because, you know, they are just digging such a massive hole for themselves that you just don't come back from it. I don't think you come back from it. When you're sitting there fighting for an illegal alien and you see the headlines, Maryland man, you mean the Maryland man whose wife got a restraining order because she was beaten so many times? Is that the Maryland man you're referring to? The one that came here and was in a gang, MS-13, right? Is that the Maryland man? So this whole thing it's just as if Trump says, you know, whatever it is. I mean, that most people would agreed with either, you know, before he was president or 10 years ago, but now it's like, oh no, we gotta fight this. And why? You just you look stupid. I mean, that's, you know, the bottom line is you're not going to win anybody's favor by trying to free a guy. And meanwhile, you know, Rachel Morin was killed. She was in Maryland. She was viciously killed. And, you know, Chris Van Hollen, the senator, he didn't do anything. He didn't come out and say it. He made one little statement. But meanwhile, he's flying down to El Salvador to go. We just had, you know, President Bukele at the White House. This is, it's, I have to say,
he got down there and he wanted to go visit with him. Like the corruptive nature of the Democrats, Chip. The fact they didn't let him in, you know, Bukele is like, no, he's a citizen of this country. And no, he can't leave.
Right.
That's it.
And honestly, why? I mean, why would he leave? It's just the craziest thing in the world, man. I mean, it really makes zero sense. Jeff.
And he's already had due process.
I just don't. I honestly just don't understand. Yeah. Well, he already had an order. So by the way, as I always say on all these things, like, please keep this up into the midterms. You're totally crushing it for Trump, by the way, but not for your party. But you know, you have to just and then Chris. He said he put out a video. I'm about to board my flight. Look at this jackass. Hang on a second. Let me show you this. We don't need the sound here. He says, I'm about to board my flight to El Salvador, where I hope to meet with senior government officials to discuss the return of Kilmar Abrego Garcia. I also hope to see Kilmar and check in on his condition and remind him that we won't stop fighting until he's home. They're fighting for an illegal alien.
Yeah, he's home. Right. This guy should be immediately kicked out of Congress. He shouldn't even be allowed back in this country. Citizen, no citizen. He's already chosen the side of an enemy combatant, you know, a terrorist that was in this country. You want to choose sides of terrorists? Don't come back to this country. That's it.
Exactly, Jeff.
It's like the rest. Everyone expelled.
As I like to point out all the time, never interrupt your enemy when they're in the process of destroying themselves. Right. Carry on, sir. Good sir. Please do more of this and tell it to your friends and let them do more. Please, you are crushing it for the wrong side, for the Republicans. But no, there's no wondering why. I'm actually surprised at this point that there's 21% people that actually still favor the Democrats. It's probably bound to go down to, like, you know, less.
Right. So wouldn't it be funny? He gets arrested.
Oh, would that be great? He gets thrown in jail. I'll tell you what happens there, Mike. Mike. This is what's going to happen. This is the new Chris Van Hollen right here. So if you see that right there, that's what
that's what he's going to look like pretty soon.
Pretty soon, that's called the prison tats.
Oh my God,
those are prison tats right there, right? You just get all tatted up. See, he's got the 13 on his face. It's a good job, by the way. But yeah, that's what ends up happening when you get the prison tats. The prison tats. He's going to get the prison tats. So I want to talk about some of the clips when Bukele was actually at the White House. There's a pretty, and I got to say, that was just epic on so many levels, man. It really was fantastic. Don't you think it was great, Jeff? Did you catch any of that?
I did. So it was super entertaining, especially the CNN reporter. She kept trying to ask questions over and over and over again. And Bukele is sitting over there just smirking. I can't believe these guys are protecting this guy.
He had the biggest smile on his face. He was just dying laughing, right? I mean, he was laughing. Here's one where Rubio, like they took multiple shots of this because let's face it, CNN's a little bit on the thick side, Jeff. They're not the sharpest tools in the shed, right?
Yeah.
They're just a little bit dense. Let's put it that way. But here's Rubio in his first pass here.
These are sick people. Mark, do you have something to say?
Yeah, I mean, Stephen outlined it. I don't understand what the confusion is. This individual is a citizen of El Salvador. He was illegally in the United States and was returned to his country. That's where you deport people, back to their country of origin. Except for Venezuela, that wasn't refusing to take people back, or places like that. I can tell you this, Mr. President. No, the foreign policy of the United States is conducted by the President of the United States, not by a court. And no court in the United States has a right to conduct the foreign policy of the United States. It's that simple.
The court specifically said he couldn't be sent back to El Salvador.
Marco's point. The Supreme Court said exactly what Marco said, that no court has the authority to compel the foreign policy function of the United States. We won a case 9-0, and people like CNN are portraying it as a loss, as usual, because they want foreign terrorists in the country who kidnap women and children. But President Trump, his policy is foreign terrorists that are here illegally get expelled from the country, which, by the way, is a 90-10 issue.
Well, Mr. President, you said that if the Supreme Court said someone needed to be returned, that you would abide by that. You said that on Air Force One just a few days ago. And
How long do we have to answer this question from you? Why don't you just say, isn't it wonderful that we're keeping criminals out of our country? Why can't you just say that?
Well, it's illegal.
Why do you go over and over? And that's why nobody watches you anymore. You have no credibility.
He's making a big point there. He's making a phenomenal point. But, Stephen Miller is fantastic. I remember seeing him the first time.
He's spot on.
Boca Raton, the first time Trump ran, 2015, 2016. He was one of the speakers, and I said, who is this guy? He came out. He was sharp as hell. This is the first time I ever saw Stephen Miller. But this is when he really kind of, because, I was getting hit up on X where people are like, Trump lost 9-0. I'm like, dude, you got to stop it with the BBC and the CNN and the CNBC propagandist networks. Because I go, did you actually read the order? They don't read anything. They're like whatever they told me to say. But I accuse them of watching the network. I don't watch the networks. Well, you plug into these leftist narratives. But here is Stephen Miller, totally putting on a clinic right here. And so all I had to do was to respond with this to people who said, hey, but he lost 9-0. Dude, it was 9-0. When have we had 9-0 rulings in modern days? It's very rare. But here he is, punching CNN right in the throat.
Would you answer that question?
So amazing.
So, as Pam mentioned, there's an illegal alien from El Salvador. So, with respect to you, he's a citizen of El Salvador. So, it's very arrogant even for American media to suggest that we would even tell El Salvador how to handle their own citizens as a starting point. As 2 immigration courts found that he was a member of MS-13. When President Trump declared MS-13 to be a foreign terrorist organization, that meant that he was no longer eligible under federal law, which I'm sure you know, you're very familiar with the INA, that he was no longer eligible for any form of immigration relief in the United States. So he had a deportation order that was valid, which meant that under our law, he's not even allowed to be present in the United States and had to be returned because of the foreign terrorist designation. This issue was then, by a district court judge, completely inverted, and a district court judge tried to tell the administration that they had to kidnap a citizen of El Salvador and fly him back here. That issue was raised to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court said the district court order was unlawful, and its main components were reversed 9-0 unanimously, stating clearly that neither Secretary of State nor the President could be compelled by anybody to forcibly retrieve a citizen of El Salvador from El Salvador, who again is a member of MS-13, which, as I'm sure you understand, rapes little girls, murders women, murders children, is engaged in the most barbaric activities in the world, and I can promise you, if he was your neighbor, you would move right away.
So you don't plan
But
to
the
ask
Supreme
for
Court's asking to.
And what was the ruling in the Supreme Court, Steve? Was it 9-0?
The questions are so
This
absurd.
is so great. Trump said some. Oh yeah, Stephen, what was? Please tell us what the Supreme Court. What was the decision? Was it 9-0? He's totally trolling these people so bad. This is fantastic.
Asking to.
And what was the ruling in the Supreme Court, Steve? Was it 9-0?
Yes, it was a 9-0
In our favor.
in our favor against the district court ruling, saying that no district court has the power to compel the foreign policy function of the that if this individual at El Salvador's sole discretion was sent back to our country, that we could deport him a second time. No version of this legally ends up with him ever living here because he is a citizen of El Salvador. That is the president of El Salvador. Your questions about it for the court can only be directed to him.
It just totally just takes it to task. What a clinic, dude. What a massive clinic you put on there.
Did laugh and saying there are illegal U.S. people in other countries. Those countries should send them to El Salvador. Well, but that's not what happened. This guy was El Salvadorian, so he was sent back to his country. That's the point. If there's Americans in other places, take Mexico, for instance. If you go into Mexico illegally, and I know it firsthand or secondhand, I know someone that actually ended up on the other side of the border in Mexico legally, but they said that this person was there illegally and put them in prison, put them in jail, and it took an act of the embassy to get them out of jail, out of Mexico. So Americans do get arrested. There's all sorts of things that happen in other countries because of the lack of due process in other countries, whereas this country actually has true due process. And, a scenario like this person had already been to court over and over and over again. So you get to a point where, hey, you transgress again. You're not even supposed to be here. You're here illegally. You're out. That's it. And that's the whole point. It's so amazing.
I'm going to go a little bit off subtopic here, but you see the guy standing right over the shoulder of Steven there? The guy that's like 7'4" there, that dude with the beard.
Yeah.
I'm like, that guy looks so familiar. Who the hell does that guy look like? And I thought about Superman 2. You remember the three criminals in Superman 2? Yeah, so let me see if I can stop sharing this for a second because I don't think it's going to. But look at this. Tell me if this reminds you a little bit of this dude right here. Here we go. All right, let's share this. Ready? Kind of looks just like.
God.
I thought that was him in the background.
God.
I said, "Damn!" He's standing in the freaking Oval Office there. I'm like, it's pretty incredible, dude. See him?
Look at him right away.
Look at him. Right there. You see him?
Yeah.
Looks just like the dude, right?
Oh my God, that's funny.
Man, I knew him from somewhere.
Showing your age, Chip.
Of course, I'm an old dude. Nobody listen. But you can be fans of old movies. I can tell you great stories about movies in the 40s and 50s where I wasn't born either. But
exactly.
But the sad thing is, you knew exactly what I was talking about. So there you go. Speaking of age, you knew exactly what I was talking about. I mean, shit. You don't have to watch. You don't have to be around. You can appreciate music from different eras without having lived through it. It's just a matter of
so Chad is saying the Democrats picked the worst hill to die on. Just say, well, you know what? They do it. They did it. They do it multiple times. They've done it multiple times. You just look at the whole thing with the police violence and all of the racial divide. That was all the Democrats doing. They take a stance. They're trying to do it again. They're trying to get the momentum behind this guy to try to turn the vote and turn the people again against Trump. It's not going to work this time. Nobody cares. It's like the boy that cried wolf. They've cried wolf so many times. This time, no one's listening to them. They're like, good riddance. This guy belongs in jail. He was sent back to El Salvador, where he belongs. The president of El Salvador is like, look, I can't bring him back to this country. What do you want me to do?
It's insane. So here's President Bukele. He chimes in on it.
We're very happy, and we're very eager to help. We know that you have a crime problem, a terrorism problem that you need help with. And we're a small country, but if we can help, we will do it. And we actually turned the murder capital of the world, that was the journalist call it, right? Murder capital of the world into the safest country in the Western Hemisphere. And, sometimes they say that we imprisoned thousands. I like to say that we actually liberated millions. So, it's very good.
Who gave him that line? Do you think I can use that?
That is a great line, man.
That was a good one.
That's a great line. I like to think we liberated millions. He goes, you liberated 350 million. That's a good. Who gave him that line? That's a good line. That's fantastic. And then Bukele, I mean, think about this, dude. So Bukele on his own X account puts up this video, and it's more Americana than something anybody than the media would actually put up, right? He's from El Salvador. He puts up a video. You almost didn't think that it was produced here in the U.S., but no. Here's something. Here's his tribute and marking his time in the U.S., and here it is. Check this out.
Ready close. Ready shut. Ready base. President Trump, your message to Christians during this Holy Week, sir. Start of Holy Week. If you have a message for Christians, sir, during this Holy Week, sir.
Mr. President, how are you? Good to see you. Welcome. Thank you.
Nice to see you again.
By the way, they took a picture of what he wrote. He goes, "Dear President Trump, El Salvador loves you. P.S. We still hate you, Biden." That's not what he wrote. I'm sure he didn't write any of that. That's nonsense, Jeff. Can't believe you thought of it. No, what I love too, what's different about Trump too, do you see how they welcome foreign dignitaries and foreign leaders? They have the entire staff lined up. The whole entire staff meets them. You didn't just come in, bring him in a back door and treat him like a pile of dirt, like what happened most of the time with Netanyahu when he showed up at the White House. They brought him to the back door. There's no fanfare. Treat him like dirt. And but you see, like the whole entire the senior staff is there. They all say hello, and then he goes over and says hello to his staff, all the people like the Minister of Foreign Relations here.
Minister of Foreign Affairs, the Ambassador.
Very good.
Minister of Justice. Minister of Defense. Hi, how are you? Advisor.
Like you, right? No. Lower. We do owe you. It feels like you've been missing you. Remember? This is done. Well, very young man. Now he's just a young man. And he's done a fantastic job. Mr. President, it's an honor to have you. Thank you. You're doing incredibly for your country. And we appreciate working with you because you want to stop crime, and so do we. And it's very, very effective. And I want to just say hello to the people of El Salvador and say they have one hell of a president. Okay, and I mean that, and I know him well. I know him as a very young man, Marco, even younger than you. He started pretty young. He'll always be younger. Young at heart. But I want to thank you for the great job you're doing. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Well, it's an honor to be here in the Oval Office with the President and leader of the free world. We're very happy and we're very eager to help. We know that you have a crime problem and a terrorism problem that you need help with. And we're a small country, but if we can help, we'll do it. And we actually turned the murder capital of the world, that was the journalists call it, right? Murder capital of the world, into the safest country in the Western Hemisphere. And, if sometimes they say that we imprison thousands, I like to say that we actually liberated millions. So,
it's very good. Who gave him that line? Do you think I can use that?
Yes.
Yes.
And in fact, Mr. President, you have 350 million people to liberate. Yes. But to liberate 350 million people, you have to imprison some. That's the way it works, right? You cannot just, free the criminals and think crime is going to go down magically. You have to imprison them so you can liberate 350 million Americans that are asking for the end of crime and the end of terrorism. And it can be done. I mean, you're doing it already. So I'm really happy to be here, honored, and eager to help.
Well, we had a terrible thing happen. We had an administration that allowed people to come in freely into our country from not only South America, but from all over the world. We're a great country, but we had stupid people running this country, and I can say it. But what they've done to us at the border should never and can never be forgotten. It's a sin, what they did, and you are helping us out, and we appreciate it. Thanks. Thank you.
Actually, what you're doing with the border is remarkable. It has dropped, 95%?
Listen to this one, Jeff.
It's incredible.
As of this morning, 99%, 99.1% to be exact.
Why are those numbers not in the media?
Well, they get out, but the fake news, like CNN over here doesn't want to put them out because they don't like putting out good numbers. They only like putting out because I think they hate our country, actually.
What was great was CNN actually had to do a piece where they came on air and they played this bit and they said CNN does not hate the country. Like, he actually got them to go on air and say that they didn't hate the country. I'm like, what? How epic a moment.
I have a great relationship with this man. I have the best relationship with him. We've known each other. I've known him since he was a very young man, as I said, very, very young. And I was impressed. I said, look how this guy is. In fact, you sort of look like a teenager. You look like a teenager. I said, what kind of a country is this?
Thank you.
He grew up well in the last 5 years.
What a numbskull. Remember the word numbskull?
You hear him say that?
Yeah.
What a numbskull. Remember the word numbskull?
Oh my god. Oh my god.
That was the best part.
5 years.
What a numbskull. Remember the word numbskull? When the guy called him.
Great, amazing, great meeting. Yeah, thank you.
Amazing.
Ready, close. Ready, shut. Hand salute.
That's more American than freaking the shit that you see on CNN. There you go.
Dude, you remember that? You remember that? You remember Wolf Blitzer? I remember the air raid siren went off and the guy's on camera and freaked out and he went diving across the screen to get a helmet or something. He was
I do remember that. I was working late that
night.
night.
He went to get a gas mask. He goes, oh my God, the air raid thing. And he's like fumbling around. He puts a gas mask on. He was all terrified. And
I was
like,
living in Detroit, Jeff, at the time, working at GM. And we were working late. I was working with a buddy of mine. We were at those stupid cubes or whatever. And he looks over at me. He goes, dude, you're not going to believe what just happened. I'm like, what happened? He goes, the war just started. I'm like, what war? He's like, yeah, Iraq. I was like, what? Like, it was literally like when we were like, we're still working. We're like, all right, forget working. Let's see what's going on.
Yep. All right.
That's right, baby.
Then we got this comment here. Dodge Charger.
Doge Charger.
Doge Charger. So used
to
seeing the Doge. Never selling all my XRP, but there's some real BS going on with this coin. I'm so glad that I invested in many other promising assets. Thanks, guys. Your channel is
diversify, awesome. Dude. Always diversify. Good man. Always diversify. It's always the way you should do it. You should diversify. Here's Tom Homan. I love this guy. This guy's no BS. Like, he never gonna bullshit you.
He called it. Tom too.
Yep. Here we go.
Hell, let's bring in the man himself. Border Czar Tom Homan joins us now. Tom, I just want to focus on one portion when the senator said
he's already pissed, dude. He's already ready to lay somebody out. He's already ready to lay somebody out. Look at his face.
That he was abducted.
He's serious all the time.
As the former leader of ICE, what do you say to him?
He wasn't abducted. He's an MS-13 gang member, classified as a terrorist that was removed from this country. So we got rid of a dangerous person, an El Salvadoran national, was returned to the country of El Salvador, so he's home. We removed him from the United States. He's a public safety threat, and that's exactly what should have happened. And I'm just disgusted that any congressional representative is going to run to El Salvador his aid. When yesterday, I read in his state, an illegal alien charged with murder was released back into the community, and not the ICE detainer wasn't honored, and ICE had to go find him in his state. In his state, the murder of Rachel Murren yesterday, listen to the testimony and listen to the mother on Handy last night. If you're not human, then the heart wasn't broken. It's just in his state. But rather than taking care of the constituents in his state, the victims of illegal crime in his state, he's going to run to El Salvador to protect an MS-13 terrorist. It's just disgusting.
You just talked about that sound from Patty Moore and Rachel's mom. We actually have it. Let's play it.
I'm very angry. I'm actually outraged, but I'm too sad at the moment to show anger at the same time. There was no action on the Democratic Party in any way, from Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, Mayorkas, anyone here in Maryland, none of the senators did anything to help search for the murderer of my daughter.
Tom, where were the phone calls? Where were the congressional delegations at her funeral, supporting her family when she was killed?
They don't care.
Not an illegal.
They don't care. When further on in the testimony, in her interview, she talks about how her young daughter died, how she suffered, how she fought for her life. Just like Laken Riley, for how long? 17 minutes she fought for her life. That young girl didn't want to die. So these congressmen and senators, how do these women die? Look how they fought for their lives. Do they have daughters? Do they have any care at all for American citizens that are victims of these crimes? But they're loud and screaming now about this MA-13 game. I mean, where were they when we had 12 million illegal aliens coming across the border? Where were they when we had 600% increase in sex trafficking? Where were they when we had 4,000 aliens dying making this journey under Joe Biden? Where were they when 250,000 Americans dying from fentanyl? It's just ridiculous. Every day I can't believe what I'm hearing. Yesterday I hear about a case in Washington State. 2 illegal aliens from Venezuela kidnapped and tortured and tried to kill a woman, robbing her using a power drill, torturing her and drilling through her hand. Every day I sit at the White House and hear these cases of sanctuary cities not helping ICE remove public safety threats from their communities.
Well, Tom, the proof is in the pudding. And
I mean, Jeff, it's insane, right? Imagine this guy. They're so far. Like, do you ever think they would be lobbying to bring back a criminal, a gang member, a designated terrorist? Like, are they that tone deaf that they can't read the room? Like, they can't see that this isn't resonating with anybody?
Well, I think, if you look at the history over the past 4+ years, the Democrats have lost the narrative, and they have been supporting. Look at the causes they've been supporting. Everything, they're on the wrong side of reason. They're on the wrong side of the law. They've supported criminals for a long time. You look at the protests on the college campuses. Look what they're protesting on behalf of a terrorist entity. After they murdered 1,200 Israelis in the streets, and yet the Democrats come in support of that cause. And then they've supported. They were anti-white. Racial division. This is what the Democrats have stood for, and this is something. The reason why this has to be talked about so succinctly, and we have to show this, is because you have to understand. Look at what they decimated crypto. Crypto was on the verge of complete failure, right? Because of them, at their hands. They would have brought crypto, in this country anyways, to its knees. That was their objective. That's exactly what Gary Gensler was doing. The FBI was, practicing lawfare. The border, quote unquote, border czar was opening the borders to flood this country with illegals, because at the end of the day, since the Obama era, through the COVID issue into Biden and the attempt of the insurrection and the undermining of the first term of Trump, because that was a true insurrection when they actually tried to take him down. They tried everything they could. They illegally usurped our voting system, and they took the vote away in 2020. That's an insurrection. What happened on January 6th was not an insurrection. When you go there and purposely undermine the integrity of our electoral system, which they did in 2020, and there's enough proof. I don't care if the media doesn't want to talk about it. I don't know if all these people, there's enough evidence out there. Everyone knows it. Everybody's seen it. They know the evidence is out. That stuff has to be talked about, because when those people are in office, and you and I talked about it, people were so irrational in the crypto community that they actually thought that if if Kamala Harris, who was also put in place, you know, against the constitutional, against the Constitution, you know, put her into a position where she was just appointed a candidate. You can't just appoint a candidate. The one person who was the least likely to run as a presidential candidate was appointed to the position, you know. And so these are the people that were in power, and yet the irrational members of the crypto community actually thought that somehow they were going to have a turning point, and these Democrats would then support crypto and blockchain tech in this country. You know, so then you have to start thinking, you know, how many people within the crypto community are actually studying all aspects of the thing, you know, that's actually passionate to that they have a passion for, right? So when you look at finance, you have to look at the politics of it. If you look at the politics of it, you have to look at both domestic and international. If you don't look at domestic and international influence, and you don't understand how the pieces are moving, don't come out and talk. You know, don't invest in anything either, because if you're going to invest in anything and you don't understand how all the pieces are moving around the puzzle here, you know, then, you know, I think it's super problematic. You know, it's crazy to me, you know, that you have to look at all aspects of this. You know, that's my take on it. And people are going to, you know, disagree and say, I'm only looking at the financial aspect, but I guarantee you go into Wall Street, and these guys look at every ad. They look at the news, they're reading everything. They understand the power. Why is Nancy Pelosi so wealthy? Is it because she was a financial genius, or is it because she got insider information that was politically driven? You know, plus they give them a lot of stuff. You know, there's all these different elements that, you know, we have to really truly understand. And, you know, and that's what's critical with all of this.
Adrian,
you know, this has to be brought to light.
Keep going, Jeff. He loves it.
That's it.
OTC off the hook, baby. Off the hook.
Nancy.
Crazy Nancy. We did it, Joe. We did it. We did it. They sure did it. All right. Crypto
is political. That's right. It's 100%. And the whole point then, Chip, is also Brad Garlinghouse. How long did it take us to let everybody know out there that, you know, that Brad Garlinghouse was MAGA? And we talked about
first ones to declare it.
Right. We're first ones to declare that, and the first ones to declare that the lawsuits against Ripple had nothing to do with anything but politics. It was all about the political orchestration and the power struggle. You know, and yet, you know, people still, I'm amazed that people still don't get it. It's mind boggling.
Yeah. There it is.
And this is really important.
Maryland mom killed by an illegal criminal case, 0 minutes on television. MS-13 gang member, Maryland dad, 64 minutes in coverage.
Right. That's how they slant it. It always has to be, it was a dad. Okay, great.
They call them a Maryland, what do you call them? A Maryland resident. Maryland resident? Here's Patty Morin. Patty Morin talked today at the press conference. This is the mom of Rachel Morin who got up and talked.
It's just common sense. Why are we not protecting our children?
Right. Why?
And to have a senator from Maryland who didn't even acknowledge or barely acknowledged my daughter and the brutal death that she endured, leaving her 5 children without a mother and now a grandbaby without a grandmother, so that he can use my taxpayer money to fly to El Salvador to bring back someone that's not even an American citizen. Why does that person have more right than I do, or my daughter, or my grandchildren? I don't understand this.
She's right, Jeff. And here she is. So this is something that happened right at the end of the press conference. This is even more powerful. It's a little bit hard to hear, but Caroline Leavitt, the press secretary, she gets off stage, and then you hear it. Here it is.
We'll see you all later. The president will be at his dinner later this evening.
Thank you for being here, Ms. Moore.
We really appreciate you. Thank you.
I'm so sorry for
your loss.
Thank you. Please tell the truth. Tell the truth.
Yeah.
Tell
She says, please tell the truth. Just tell the truth.
how violent it really is. This is about
Protecting our children. It's more than just politics or votes or just anything. It's about national security, protecting Americans, protecting our children. Thank you. And thank you for listening.
Man.
It's insane, man. It really
How am I supposed to play a Yeti commercial after that?
It's tough, Jeff. I guess you want to put something funny first? Yes or no? You want to put something?
No, we'll just put it
So anyway, I'll put this up, but this is Chris Holland. He gave a press conference when he was down in El Salvador. This is him right here.
Hi, my name is Chris Van Howen, and I'm a U.S. Senator from the state of Maryland.
Este white boy dice que es un senador de el América.
Nobody really gives a shit about me where I come from, so I decided to get in the news and save an MS-13 gangbanger who beats his wife.
El white boy está mucho loco. Dice que quiere llevarse un criminal back to el América.
So I came to El Salvador in order to go into the jail and see the MS-13 gangbanger.
Este pendejo quiere entrar a la cárcel como si fuera su casa.
But they told me to go fuck myself and that they would only listen to President Trump. They seem to love Trump out here.
That's right. El Salvador is mega country, bitches.
I don't know who does that shit.
I don't know. It's so funny.
This is fantastic. All right, now you can roll that Yeti commercial, man.
Man,
I can roll it.
Man, that was all serious too. We're getting fired up, passionate.
Yeah.
We'd have to get a political commercial or something.
Yeah,
All right,
do it, dude.
here we go.
Win a badass Yeti from the Blue Tribe. What's the word of the day? Yeti. Hey, you got your Damen wallet ready? Why? 'Cause this one is gonna be back. It's time to claim your legendary Blue Tribe Yeti from the clan Spirit Walkers. His name's Storm Varg. Let's go! On the chain, badass Yetis, born for battle, made for legend.
Damn, Jeff.
That one is pretty kick-ass.
Keep
I have
getting
to
better.
say,
and
I
better,
like
man.
that one.
By the
That
way,
was
did somebody
probably
miss
one of the
Tish?
best.
Who mentioned Tish James in there? Did somebody mention Tish James?
Oh, you heard, she's in trouble.
Yeah, she's in trouble for what she accused Trump of. James,
Great.
James,
It's so amazing.
James Wood put this commentary. I was looking for who put that up there, but look at this. He said, the best headline since the one I read in college, which will never be topped. A Tish best served cold instead of a dish. This is beautiful.
Yeah.
Tish
Oh my
James.
God.
So she's in trouble for mortgage fraud. How freaking, I mean, man, karma is a bitch, isn't it? It can really come back. And Thai Yeti. There we go. Let's bring the Thai Yeti. Thai Yeti.
So Matt asks a good question. Is there a way to establish rarity like with the Blue Tribe for the White Tribe? I think they made a mistake.
They made a mistake. I got to get in touch with them because the White Tribe does have rarities, and I got to reach out to
set
them
up for
and see
rarity.
what's going on there because something clearly is not right there. I don't know what it is, but something's clearly not right. So, Jeff, there was a big Supreme Court decision in the UK, and it went differently than I expected, but it went a pretty cool way. So let's listen to this. It was in the court to define what a woman is, and here it is.
Unanimous decision of this court is that the terms woman and sex in the Equality Act 2010 refer to a biological woman and biological sex.
This will forever be a historic day for women's rights in the UK. Oh, I thought I was going to have a heart attack for a second there, but there we go. Women, or woman, means biological woman. It means being an adult human female in the law. Take that, trans rights activists and men who want to come into women's spaces.
There you go. Hey man, the world's turning around. Things are, again, this is all coming around, man. It's starting to right itself. Rain here. What's going on, Rain? It's been a while, my man. Jeez, how have you been?
Been a while.
Gosh, we should bring Rain on here. We need to have Rain on the program. Rain here. So we need to do this. Scooby Doo Doo. Hey, Scoob. Hey, Cranky. Freaking Hoddle. He calls him Hoddle. You're still gonna notice. He's still calling you Hoddle.
Be known as Hoddle forever.
He's known as Hoddle forever, dude.
Right.
If you haven't been here in a while, Rain, it's morphed into a crypto and geopolitics podcast. A little bit of crypto tossed in there, but it's all connected. We've been saying this for years, Jeff. Have we not?
We've been trying to tell
talking
everybody.
about this for years.
We've been trying to tell everybody.
You've been trying to tell everybody. I mean, it's
right.
But just to go show you what a douchebag this guy is, Chris Van Hollen. He actually posted this himself. He posted it, right? Listen to this.
Landed at the airport in San Salvador a little while ago. I'm now en route into the city, looking forward to meeting with the team from the American Embassy. And I do want to thank our Foreign Service officers and the whole team at this embassy and embassies around the world for all the good work they do on behalf of our country. I'm proud to co-chair the bipartisan Foreign Service Caucus that stands up for the men and women who are serving our country overseas and at home in the State Department. After that, I hope to meet with some high-level government officials from El Salvador. As I've said before, the goal of my visit is to talk to people here about the release of Kilmar.
Hey, Squadouche, maybe you missed President Bukele in the White House yesterday, who said he's not going back. Maybe you could have avoided that whole trip down there. But we know this is grandstanding and just gaslighting the American public, because that's what you guys do.
Prego Garcia. I told his wife and his family I would do everything possible to bring him home, and we're going to keep working at this until we're successful. I also hope
how fast do you think he's going to abandon this? He's going to work at it till he's successful. I think it ended today.
Gonna work at it until he gets home. That'll be the end of it.
He just was like, by the way, I chair the Foreign Services Community. I for this, and I want to talk about, like, it was like a commercial, bro. He's already home.
That's right.
Well, the criminal's home for sure. I mean, absolutely. I mean,
God.
What a squadouche. I mean, he's out there going off on what did he say? Crypto YouTube shows banned.
YouTube was banned because of politics. So yes, you're both right. It's all connected.
Yeah, well, don't say that too loud, Rain. Keep it to yourself. Don't be giving any ideas out. We don't want to see any of it. So, do you know that Blue Origin flight that went up? Tim Waltz, no more tampon Tim.
Tim Waltz is also a weirdo.
You know the Blue Origin, the flight went up. Bezos thing. It's kind of like, I guess it goes up in lower space or something.
Yeah.
Anyway, there's like these women dressed up like someone said. It probably took them
up into orbit.
They said it probably took them longer to put the hair and makeup on and get all done up than it took them to put the spacesuits on.
Mm-hmm.
And I've never seen somebody go into space without a space helmet. Right? They're like jumps.
They're in the capsule though. So they go right up to the edge and then they come back.
Right. It's kind of like,
but maybe they had it on inside the thing.
I don't know. It goes up and then it gradually starts coming down. As it's coming down, that's when the weightless thing happens. But you know, Gail, Oprah's best friend, was saying that she was disgusted because people were calling it a ride. I'm like, dude, it's a ride. It's like that slingshot ride. You get in, it slingshots you up, and you come back. It's kind of like that. It just goes a little bit higher. But she goes, I like to refer to it as a journey. And they all just squander. But anyway, I started following this girl on TikTok. She's fantastic, by the way. I was like, I got the name of the Listen to this commentary, Jeff. Tell me if this isn't spot on. Listen to this commentary.
Cringiest moments from the all-female SpaceX flight to space, starting with this dick-shaped rocket. First, we got the whole ringing of the bell / catwalk into the rocket. Apparently, ringing the bell, it's like a traditional thing that astronauts, like actual astronauts, do, not these broads, who I guarantee spent more time in hair and makeup than they did actually preparing to go to space. Then there was this moment of girl power. Take up space and resources and money that could be used to end world hunger. Yes, girl power. What was the point of bringing a fucking flower to space? Like, you picked a flower just to do this bullshit? Like, this is... I'm embarrassed for my gender with all the stupid little trinkets they brought into the rocket. This next one isn't so much cringe as it is just hilarious, like listening to these broads scream as they land.
That screaming inside the capsule. It's very soft.
They sound like a bachelorette party. Perhaps the most cringe of all is all their comments when they got back to Earth, like Lauren Sanchez, who had this to say.
Connected, more connected than you realize, because
It was the duck lip brigade, Jeff. They all had the duck lips.
All right, the duck lip brigade. Right, yeah. The Botox lips.
So what it was my lips are so big sometimes it's hard to talk, Jeff. I mean, it really is.
I mean, the duck lips, and I mean, this is Bezos's girlfriend, I think.
That rock is literally from
it really is.
you just see right here, you see states.
Like if you're gonna go up in space, like just have somebody write you a statement. Nothing long, just something that sounds halfway intelligible.
Right.
Like you would say, like, it was incredible, the journey we took, and it just goes to show you how we can all come to, I don't know, something, it was great. And they're like, Pete, and they're like, and all these things. And I'm like, what the hell? This girl's looking at her face.
And all these things that divide us. But
In your moment of clarity, did you realize you should stop getting facial surgery? Because there's a lot of division in the harmony of your face, from the chin to the lips. Girl, stop. Katy Perry takes the cake for the most cringe.
super connected to love.
Sorry.
So connected to love.
Yeah.
I think this experience.
Your love of
has
what?
shown
Money?
me you never
Excess?
know how much love is inside of you. Like how much. love
That's
you have
bullshit that's inside of you. The cringiest of all was probably when she kissed Earth. Girl, I just want to shove her face in there.
That's the best, though.
She's fantastic. I went down a rabbit hole. I watched like 50 of her TikToks. They're all like that. She mostly makes fun of Rachel Ray and the shit she cooks. That's even hilarious when she posts while she's making stuff. God, I never thought they could be so entertaining.
Look at this funny comment from Zed. Imagine the two astronauts stuck in space for 9 months watching Katy Perry kiss the ground after being in space for 10 minutes.
And you know what? This space origin, they got more like they were basically stranded for 9 months. They come back there. There's no coverage. Like I had to watch it on
none. Yeah,
I remember I was in Vegas. I had to watch it on online or something. I couldn't find it anywhere. Nobody was covering it.
Well, I was watching. It was on the NASA channel. I don't know what it was on.
Yeah.
I was watching live. Finally came up and opened the thing.
Meanwhile, these broads come here, and it's like, Jesus, you would have think, the second coming here. It's crazy. Look at this right here. This is what I love about our Australian friends. I don't know what network this is, Matt. Maybe you can let us know what this is. Pretty sure it's an Australian TV because they're conservative as hell. And I didn't think that was allowed in Australia, but here we go.
You know, the only reason anyone not stuck at an airport watches CNN these days is to see Scott Jennings. Here he is with CNN host Abby Phillips.
7 million means that they're not just going after criminals.
Well, they're going after people who are in the country illegally, right?
Yeah, I know, but I'm saying the criminals, this is a much bigger universe.
Doesn't that make you a criminal?
No, it doesn't.
To come across the border illegally?
Coming into the country illegally is a civil offense. It's not a criminal offense.
Okay, if you come into the country illegally, here's the message. We're going to find you and send you back.
Oh, Abby, coming across the border illegally is a criminal offence. Let's have a look at Scott Jennings now, effortlessly toying with Anna Navarro. Talk about an intellectual mismatch.
Honestly, if it was Kamala Harris behaving this way, they'd call her hormonal and hysterical, right? Look.
Well, you'd have to get elected to be.
But, well, yes, and if she had been elected and if Hillary Clinton had been elected, if any woman had been elected and been acting this way, they'd say it was menopause.
She would have never stood up to China, so I think this is a mood issue, right?
No. And let's check in with one of Anna's co-hosts on The View. Here's Whoopi Goldberg. She seems to think that the Trump administration, you know, the one that won in a landslide, winning every swing state, winning the popular vote, winning the Electoral College 312 to 226, apparently, according to Whoopi, they only represent a very narrow band of people.
All you countries who watch us, this is not our wish.
No, it's not.
Well, it was our wish. So it's everything we voted for.
Who cares what other people think?
How it's being we don't like how this is being done. That's why you will hear us kvetching about this as long as we are able, because no one we're talking to understands what's going on, and therefore When they say America, they're not talking about us. They are talking about that very narrow band of America that they think they represent.
Back to CNN. This is how you handle an interview with CNN, especially if they start quoting another fake news outlet like the Washington Post. Let's hear from Senior Director of Counterterrorism, Dr. Sebastian Gorka.
Last month, the Washington Post reported that the freeze on U.S. foreign assistance in Africa has, quote, threatened programs intended to counter al-Shabaab bomb makers. Are those cuts still in place? Are you concerned about them at all?
Is that the same Washington Post that propagated the Russia-Russia collusion hoax for the last 8 years?
Well, regardless of the Russia...
No, not regardless. You're quoting the Washington Post to me, which is as effective as posting for me or quoting to me any other pillar of the fake news industrial complex. I really couldn't care less what the Washington Post or the New York Times says, especially when it's anonymous government officials. If it's true,
always
put
anonymous.
your name to it. If it's not, shut up.
There you go. And here is how Donald Trump handled the media overnight.
I love it.
First, he reminded them that his predecessor never did impromptu press conferences.
You people requested. I'm always available, unlike Biden. Think Biden would do an interview at 2 in the morning? He would do one at 9 in the morning.
And he then got his granddaughter, Kai, involved, first introducing her to the members of the fake news media.
On the plane.
I've got to say, he really is the funniest president we've ever had.
This is so funny.
Kai, come on over. You know the fake news? This is the fake news.
Hey, what's up, everyone? How are you guys?
She's like, hello, everyone.
We're just doing a little news conference. You want to partake?
I mean, I'll add to some stuff.
She's a great athlete, actually.
I'll add some stuff.
Yeah.
And great student.
Kai's too much, man.
Yeah.
So go ahead. Any other questions?
On Monday, you're having a meeting with the president of El Salvador.
Now, Donald Trump was at the UFC over the weekend.
Oh, that's
and
okay.
he
It is
walked
Sky
out
News.
to a
It says Sky News right at the
response from
top.
Miami
Yeah, Sky News
crowd,
Australia, yeah.
flanked by two of his grandchildren. Trump not only
Everybody
got a
there is
rock
a
star
Trump fan.
entrance, but he had sporting stars flocking to shake his hand, including UFC champ Dominic Reyes, moments after his big win.
Yeah, that was great. You gotta love that.
Even Shaq, the great Shaquille O'Neal,
he
made
took
his
so much
way
shit
through
for
the
this.
crowd to greet the president.
Called him a sellout.
Yep, so ridiculous.
Yeah, one of the I think from someone from Cleveland Browns was there, from football players. Everybody took so much incoming, called them sellouts and FU. I mean, yeah, it's insane, Jeff. These people are absolutely insane.
More than one Trump. He doesn't sleep. So
He's
I think he sleeps like 4 hours a night. That's it. Constantly going.
So one last thing here, Jeff. This is so Gavin Newsom opened up the Medicaid, Medicare up to illegals, and they went into what do you think happened? They went into a deficit. Now he's crying for money. He wants money. He wants to get bailed out. I say let him die.
Newsom says the state short on funds for its Medicaid program known as Medi-Cal. The state expanded the program to cover undocumented immigrants.
They're still using the undocumented immigrants, illegals, okay? They're here illegally. Forget this undocumented shit.
Governor asked lawmakers to approve another $2.8 billion in loans on top of a $3.4 billion loan issued last week. So California now making up a $6.2 billion shortfall in Medi-Cal funds. The money meant to keep the program properly funded through June.
The realities are the realities. You have to balance budgets. We balance.
The realities are the realities. That's prolific. 6.2 billion, Jeff. It's not a small number. 6.2 billion?
It's our budget. Revenue is holding up. I don't see anything significant along the lines of what some have asserted. But I do see the need to make adjustments and changes broadly in the Medicaid system.
That was the guy.
Meantime, Republicans.
That's a typical.
Gonna bob and weave.
People complain about Trump and say he's simplistic. He says the same thing over and over again. At least he says something. That guy didn't say a damn thing.
Nothing.
He didn't say a word. It was just nothing but words and gobbledygook. And
it's so crazy the way they talk.
It was just insane. He said nothing of any value, nothing that anybody got anything out. So this guy takes it home right here. Let's end on this right here. This guy makes a little comment from China, and then he gets throat punched.
China, let me show you the United States products in my home. Nothing. Do you have something from China in your home?
And that right there is what you should be mad about. To all the Americans, those of you that are against Trump and Elon Musk, instead of this misplaced anger that you have towards Elon and Trump, that's what you should be mad about.
That's right.
They have been getting rich off of us for probably my entire lifetime. And you're sitting here upset because because Trump put tariffs on China? Man, please.
That was so well said.
I love that guy.
I mean, because now they're taunting the U.S., right? They're going out and they're showing all the high elitist things that are made in China. They're by shaming companies. I don't think you're winning any goodwill by trying to tell them that it was all made in China. Like,
because they stole everything.
It's no, but he's like the Hermes and all the designer stuff. It's all made in China.
Yeah, well, that too.
But I'm just saying the fact that but
that's all shifting.
But shaming countries by let's expose them and talk about this, and then calling Americans stupid and doing AI videos of fat people, and fat Americans sewing, in sweatshops making clothes. I'm sorry, man, you're not going to win a lot of goodwill with the American people by shaming them. It ain't happening, man.
Who gave China most favored nation status?
Who was that, by the way? Was that Clinton?
I think so.
Oh, look it up. Look it up, Jeff. See what you got there.
Didn't know that one. And it was temporarily granted by the Congress in 1980. Wait, so when was it made official though? 1997.
There you go, Clinton.
It was Clinton, yeah.
By the way, no semi-crypto broadcast geopolitics would be the same if you didn't have BG123 ride in the high seas. Here we go. It's beautifully done. Beautifully done.
Huh.
That's all the time we have, guys. And we ran. Only Nixon could go to China. Spock.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
That's it.
Well, sometimes we forget too. Everything is political. Crypto, XRP, geopolitics. Any questions? I can't think of any. That's it.
That's it.
We should put crypto in small font like this. Crypto and XRP, and then giant geopolitics, So there it is. There it is. Hey, who makes the Yetis? Jeff or Chip? Well, it's a joint effort. It's a joint effort that we make them together. There's a lot of Jeff stronger on the copy and the naming side of it, and I'm a little bit more on the designing side. So, but it's a team effort. Couldn't have one without the other. So,
Cryptpolitics.
And Jeff went hog wild on the story too. So you got to give props there too.
Oh yeah, the story.
You
got to redo the story.
Yeah, but the story is good though.
Wow.
BG123 will get more views than Disney Snow White. I don't doubt that. By the way, have you seen the memes on that? Oh my God, they are phenomenal.
America.
When they turned her into talking to our weird voice like a pirate. It's just awesome, man. I'm having some. I'll tell you, man. Thank God for AI. It's made memes even better than you could ever imagine. They're so good these days, man.
AI is just getting more and more fun. It's getting better. Some ways it gets stupider. Man, it's a lot.
That's all the time we have. But we have time to do the Yeti drawing, which we're going to do right now.
And before we do the Yeti drawing, we got to roll.
Roll it, Jeff.
Roll this one more time.
Roll it, baby.
All right. Ready? Wait.
Oh. Whoa.
Win a badass Yeti from the Blue Tribe. What's the word of the day? Yeti. Hey, you got your Damen wallet ready? Why? 'Cause this one is gonna be back. It's time to Storm Varg. Let's go! On the chain, badass yetis, born for battle, made for legend.
I'll play the guitar.
That one is kick-ass.
All right, guys, here we go. Yo,
Kick-ass.
yo, this video is dope as hell. And who does an original song with the original graphics for every giveaway? Right here, baby.
Every single one.
And I will say that that is all Jeff. That's all Jeff. You guys rock. This shit is so funny. Good. Badass Yeti. Young Wei Malmsteen guitar. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Wait till we get some AI music or video to it too.
Yeah. That's the next thing. We've got to animate some Yetis. Let's throw that in there. And some Yetis.
Got to work on that.
Yetis.
Yeti.
That'll be fun.
All right. Let's get that
on
ready.
Ready, guys? Here we go. There it is.
It's time to claim your legendary Blue Tribe Yeti from the clan Spirit Walkers. His name Storm Varg.
Adrian.
Look at that.
Yes.
Adrian.
Yo, Adrian. Yo, Adrian.
Adrian's a big winner.
Adrian. Hardcore bitches. Go to XRP Cafe and get your Yeti. Damn right. Go get one, guys. Support. That's how you support the channel too. That all goes into the
and hopefully Adrian's still here. Adrian's over in oh shit. We forgot something.
What did we forget? Oh shoot. We'll do it next time, because you know what? I don't have all the stuff. I know we were gonna do an Expector drawing, but I'm gonna get some details from Expector.
Look at that, he's fast.
So I'll have it. We'll have it on Monday. We'll have it on Saturday. We're missing some details on the promo, because I'm gonna post it up. Jeff and I will post it up on and then we'll start doing. We'll do them consecutively, but we will have it. Sorry about that, guys, but that happens. Adrian, are you here?
Yeah, he's here.
There he is.
He already posted the.
Dude, look at this guy. He's on top of it.
Wait,
right. Congrats, Adrian.
Around.
Adrian S.
He knows the role.
You're privileged enough to know your last name. We don't know your last name. Adrian.
Last name is S.
Way to go, dude.
Transfer on its way.
It's always rigged unless you win. Even if you win, it's rigged. Adrian S. even said it was rigged.
It was rigged.
It's fixed.
It was rigged for Adrian right from the beginning.
Go, Adrian. Adrian. So close. Mike showed up right at the very end there. It was like, and they tease you. It's like click, click, Mike grab, and then boom, Adrian. It's like, oh, dude.
Always falls over the net.
And then flash, you know?
Yeah, that would be cool.
Because it always fakes out that person that is like in second place. And that's just not cool.
Adrian Stormvarg. It's so fitting. There you go. Done. You now own Stormvarg. Badass Yeti of the Blue Tribe number 587.
Now we know what the S stands for. Stormvarg. Adrian Stormvarg. There you go.
Adrian Stormvarg.
You have to do it. You have to change that. Adrian Stormvarg. That's
Adrian
yours,
Stormvarg,
dude.
From now on.
Well, that ain't going to happen, Mark. I can guarantee you that ain't happening. You want Letitia James? Tish James? That ain't happening, son.
Oh, my God.
That ain't happening. Yeah, I mean, Jeff, how awesome would that be if he changes from the S to Stormvarg? Oh, my God, dude.
Adrian Stormvarg.
Adrian Stormvarg? Holy cow, that would be something special right there. Thanks, everyone, for showing up. Chip, Jeff, have another great show. Love you guys, man. We'll see you guys on Saturday. We'll go do another epic show Saturday morning, and then we will be giving away a plot of land. Sorry about that. We just got super busy this week.
Giving away free land. Free land.
Yeah.
Free real land in the Expector world.
The Expector world. Big time, man. Big time. You guys ready for this? We're going to get out of here. We guys will see you on Saturday.
Saturday.
See you on Saturday, Chip and Jeff.
Are you down with OTC? Please like, subscribe, and click the bell to be notified when the next video drops.